Lobbycast. I like that.
We're recording in a van down by the river.
I will probably edit that out.
Yeah, well, with me constant have fun.
Quote Brad Pitt, what is in the box?
Am I the only one that's impressed that Brendan Fraser still gets work?
Places that you would never expect to find him.
He's fantastic. Much love to him. So hopefully we get to see him too. I don't have an exact date for this fall on Stars, but there are online clips of previews available with all the blood and guts and chainsaws you could want. So definitely look that up.
Outstanding.
Nice. Do you know if it's going to like pick up? Because wasn't there a movie after Army of Darkness?
There, as far as Bruce Campbell goes. Mm-hmm. No, there was not. There was a video game that was a continuation, a Fistful of Boomstick, and which
for the
OG Xbox, which was fantastic. There was also a follow-up that also involved the Bruce Campbell character, follow-up to Fistful of Boomstick, and I'll be damned if I can remember the title of it right now. Okay.
I was just kind of curious where they were possibly going to pick up in the story, if they were going to do some rehashing, rebooting, considering that they decided to reboot the original film a couple of years ago. I was kind of curious where they're going to pick up on the story.
I think they're picking up 30 years later for Ash, is what they said. And,
he's still managing
his chainsaw, and
is he still managing a
S-Mart?
That's what it is.
Shop Smart.
S-Mart. Yes,
exactly. We can hope.
Housewares.
We can hope. Housewares, exactly.
Awesome. Definitely looking forward to that then.
Me as well. So definitely check out that clip. It's good times.
Yes, excellent. Real quick, we just overcame another technical hurdle. We are now actually live broadcasting.
Ooh, very
exciting. We were not live broadcasting before?
No, apparently not.
I keep looking down here because that's what's coming.
What's up?
Did any of the previous stuff get picked up?
Well, it'll all be on the audio recording. However, for the live broadcast, hey, welcome. This is episode 327 of the PGL Lobbycast. I'm Will. With me is Blaine and always the lovely Erin. We just started off with news, and for those of you that missed the first half of the broadcast because we're having insurmountable technical difficulties tonight, we were just talking about a new show on Stars this fall, which is going to be starring starring Bruce Campbell with Sam Raimi behind the helm, and it was called once again
Ash versus. Let's see. I'm already behind. I believe it is Ash versus the Evil Dead this fall on Stars. Look up the clip online. Gory, good fun. Check the audio for further details.
And now we're caught up. Holy smokes! It's getting rough.
In the trenches, man.
Oh, man. So, yeah, for those of you that are now officially joining us live, for those of you listening to the audio, I'm sorry. Wow. But for those of you now joining the webcast live, we are talking about the news. Erin, anything else newsworthy from your side of the table?
I think the one other thing as far as news goes is thank you, Matthew Lewis, for your fantastic photo shoot.
Well done, sir.
Absolutely.
Well done.
Well done.
No, I can honestly say that I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, Matthew Lewis is.
Neville Longbottom is his best known for.
Oh, now I know exactly what you're talking about because, yes, you've shown me all the pictures all week. Something about the Hufflepuff bodies. No, he's one of the gorgeous Gryffindors. I apologize.
Gorgeous Gryffindor, thank you, yes.
I was thinking about the other Hufflepuff bodies.
Well, he's popped up in the news before in regards to how much he has changed his appearance in the acting work that he's done. He was in a series, I don't know if it was BBC or one of the other channels, that he was stationed in Afghanistan or Iraq, and people were commenting on how incredibly fit he was.
Oh.
Well, this is kind of even further down the line where he has gotten even more fit based on diet and working out, and he did a special photo shoot for, was it Attitude? I think it was Attitude magazine.
I think so, but I don't honestly remember.
Yeah.
And this was
I got distracted.
This is the photo shoot that the inimitable J.K. Rowling herself commented on the Twitters. I love you, but please put your clothing back on.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
It was. It started out with her making a comment about about him needing to put the clothes on, and he responded with saying, "Well, this is awkward. Sorry, Joe." And she finished it off by saying it was hard enough seeing,
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes, Dan in Equus.
Oh, yes.
Where, of course,
Yes.
in Equus, he's
Full
completely
frontal,
nude.
yeah.
Somebody, yes.
It's hard enough to see him in that, and then now this.
Yes.
But it's well done, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Very good. And now that we've lost Erin for the remainder of the evening, Blaine, what do you have for news?
I have a smorgasbord of news for
Swedish
everybody.
news.
Some silly stuff, some informative stuff, some fun stuff. Right off the bat, it was just kind of funny. I was zipping through IMDb News, and the three main females from Cruel Intentions, the film that was an adaptation off of Dangerous Liaisons,
Yes.
had Sarah Michelle Gellar, had Reese Witherspoon, had Selma Blair, Ryan Phillippe, a bunch of up and coming young actors at that time.
Yes.
This was back in the 90s, I believe. Right?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
The starring female members of the cast decided to, the news was referring to it as a girls' night out. They decided to all go out and see an unsanctioned musical comedy parody version of Cruel Intentions that was being staged somewhere in the LA, or I'm pretty sure it was the LA area. They all went together, it turned into a photo op, they went backstage and they met the cast of the show and had a really good time, ended up making some of the news outlets in California. I just thought it was a funny way for the primary female members of the cast to get reunited. And so they had some great pictures and stuff. A National Spelling Bee ended in a tie again this year.
Okay.
Two kids, one from Kansas and one from Missouri, won the top prize for the National Spelling Bee.
You know what, real quick, good for them.
Well, damn right.
Good for them. Good for Kansas and Missouri.
Especially considering all the wonderful things that the state government is doing in the state of Kansas for education right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
I really kudos to these kids for overcoming the limitations of their states.
By all means.
Yes, and owning these spelling bees. That's an amazing accomplishment in and of itself. What as you said, what they are overcoming in the public education realm makes it even more amazing. So good job, kids.
That's me getting political. Anyways, we're saying
People like it when we're topical.
Next up, once again, this is just kind of bouncing all over the place.
yeah, sure.
As Deadpool wrapped this week,
Okay.
I think it either wrapped today or yesterday up in Vancouver. I'm losing names today.
Ryan Reynolds.
Thank you. Ryan Reynolds is completely done with his production work at this point in time. Post-production should be starting sometime soon. But principal filming is complete.
Okay.
He said he is incredibly moved and happy and hungry at the end. Next up, a little bit of gaming news. I'll kind of bundle these things together. People are excited for two major releases that are coming out right now. One is Tamriel. The
Elder Scrolls
Online release for the consoles is coming up really, really soon, isn't it? Next week?
is coming out on the 9th.
The 9th.
So we are about a week and a half away.
Okay.
Yes.
Along with that, around the same time is Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight is supposed to be coming out.
Which
And-
will be losing the ever popular Brick 2
Yes.
for at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the reason why I noted this one, because I'm somewhat up to date on the podcast. The most recent ones haven't been posted yet for me to be able to listen to, but I wanted to make sure that Brick was aware. This is for you, Brick. You won't be happy.
Oh.
It's because there's not a single definitive version of the game. No matter where you buy it, regardless of whether it is pre-ordered or not, every single outlet has its own version of the game because of additional items. And we're not just talking like costumes and stuff like that. Some of it's just maps. But there is some exclusive game content that is only available through certain outlets. And so there's this article on Polygon just tearing it up, saying how once again another AAA title is screwing over their audience, the true fans, because they'd be willing to drop, $99. I mean, how much was Rick was buying some special edition of
He was buying the special edition of Arkham Knight that came with like an RC or a statuary Batmobile. Essentially.
Yeah.
Pre-ordered through GameStop. He's been incredibly excited about it.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Brick.
But yeah.
It will not be a definitive version, unfortunately, because other outlets will also have other versions of the game that will have actual different storylines available to them. I think in particular, there's some versions that have the Joker, Harley Quinn's playable storyline available to them where others won't.
Wow, that is terrible.
I don't know if his will have it, but I know that would incredibly disappoint me because she's such a fun character.
Oh, sure. But I mean, the whole idea would be, unless they're hedging that diehard gamers are going to buy a copy for each platform, which
is really going out of your way to screw your fan base.
Exactly. Well, and when I first started the article based on the title, I originally thought it was all about the whole DLC scam that so many AAA titles are doing, where you don't actually get the full version of the game when you buy it on release. You have to wait for additional DLC to come out to actually finish telling the complete story. I thought that that's what it was going to be about, but no, they're going even farther, and they're limiting actual content based upon its actual location of purchase. I would be offended.
Yeah.
But if you're interested, read the Polygon article. It was very interesting.
Yeah. Check it out.
Some more positive news.
Please.
Both games with gold and PlayStation Plus free games for the month of June.
Yay, free games.
Nice.
I like free games.
On Xbox One, Massive Chalice will be available. And to my knowledge, the Xbox One games are available all month long, from the beginning of June to the end of June.
Sure.
I don't know Massive Chalice at all.
Not at all. Not clue. Haven't heard anything about it.
Nope. And then also Pool Nation FX, again, that's 3 months in a row for Xbox One users.
In case you missed it.
I know you've played it. It's an arcade game, right?
Yeah, essentially it's an arcade
billiards.
game. It is billiards. It has one of the more realistic 3D and physics simulators for a billiards game that I've seen, as far as determining English, spin, rotation, counter-rotation, friction, coefficients of drag, all that other impressive stuff. Beyond that, it has a really nice, shiny polish on it.
Nice.
So I have literally spent 10 minutes on it. I managed to unlock one achievement, and I said, I will have to come back to this. And I may at some point still, but I've got other stuff to play.
Most definitely. True. 360. The first half of the month, of June 1st to June 15th, Just Cause 2 will be available for free download on the 360. And June 16th to 30th, Thief will be available for free download. I have not played either. I don't know Just Cause at all, but I know that Thief was a fairly popular game for a while.
Thief was a reskin of an old PC game. It was very popular in the PC. I played the demo for the Xbox One, and it's got some nice stuff to it. I think pretty much the idea is steal everything. I'm sure there's some things that you have to steal in order to progress the stealing plot line.
Hence the title of the game.
Yes. Definitely not, it's not like being a thief in Skyrim.
Oh.
It's not like being a thief in Skyrim where you simply bolster your sneak and your lockpick and your pickpocket up to 100, and then you walk around stealing people's arms and legs and heads and stuff.
I will take this.
But this is now mine.
And
Thank
this,
you.
And this.
How did you manage to steal an entire dragon?
And this.
How did you manage to steal Alduin, the entire dragon? Yeah. So, there is definitely some skill and some strategy behind it. The demo was fun.
Okay, cool. All right, looking at PlayStation games here for the PS4. These are available starting June 2nd through the end of the month. For those who bought this game, I feel very sorry for you since it is now free. My friend, my roommate, he bought it. But Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. It's essentially a demo, a beginning stage for the Metal Gear Solid 5 that's going to be coming out from Konami at a later date. And it's actually incredibly beautiful and looks like a lot of fun to play. But it was originally released as a $20 short game download that you could buy from the PlayStation Store that they're now giving away for free. So I had to make sure and rub a little salt into the wound. My friend who bought it, it's like, hey, guess what's free on the PS4 this month? Ground Zeroes. He's like, what?
I'm sure he's thrilled.
Yeah. Yes. And then he was like, yeah, but it was worth it. Really? Really? $20 for essentially a demo? Well, it was definitely more than a demo. It was essentially like the first level of an extended game.
Better be a long-ass level, that's all.
Yeah. It seemed pretty long, and it seemed actually pretty complicated. It definitely involved all the espionage and combat that the Metal Gear Solid games did.
My only question: at any point did a
I know what your question is going to be.
did a Asian female ever proclaim loudly and repeatedly, "Snake-a, snake-a"?
That was not what I thought you were going to ask, but no. There was no Sneaker.
No snake.
Sneaker. There was no use of boxes either. I thought you were going to ask about the use of a cardboard box, but no, there was not.
That was my fault.
So that will be available starting June 2nd. Also, Skulls of the Shogun, the Bonafide edition. I'm not quite sure what that is.
Bonafide.
Yes. Well, it's specifically...
See what they did there?
Yeah, it's spelled B-O-N-E.
Yeah.
Bone A5. And no, that's not a euphemism. It's that the characters are actually skeletons.
That makes sense.
I don't know the game, but it looked like it was most likely a fun arcade game.
Sure.
On the PS3, there is Call of Juarez, Gunslinger. I don't know the name, but that will be available. And Cloudberry Kingdom. It looked like a platforming game, arcade type game.
Sure.
It looked like it was possibly fun. And then on the PS Vita, now these games are also available in an arcade type download for the PS4 as well, but they're available for free on the PS Vita. I think maybe they were listed together because the PS Vita and the PS4 work in conjunction quite a bit.
Sure.
You can actually play some of your titles from your PS4 and your PS Vita, so it was listed as both. But Super Exploding Zoo, great game title. I have no idea what is involved, but I'm sure PETA is furious. Because I immediately assumed that there was exploding
animals.
Exactly. Not the zoo itself exploding, but the animals.
Light your sheep on fire.
Exactly. And then last one is Futuridium EP Deluxe, which it looked like possibly a puzzle game of some sort.
Sure.
But that's as far as I could get with it. So free games for both the PlayStation Network and Games for Gold for the Xbox.
Outstanding.
A little bit
It's free.
Movie news here. There has been some leaked footage and some pics in regards to the Suicide Squad. It does look like, at least at this point, unless it hits the cutting room floor, Batman of some sort. There was some speculation in the article that I read on whether it was simply stunt work by a Batman. So they don't know officially if Ben Affleck will make a cameo as Batman himself in the movie, but Batman, the character, will be featured in some sort of chase and fight scene with the Joker in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for those Dragon Ball Z fans out there, the new Dragon Ball Z movie is going to be coming to America. It was originally screened even before it was released in Japan at I want to say it was a Comic-Con event of some sort.
That makes sense.
In California. I don't know if it was the San Diego Comic-Con that it was at. I'm not 100% certain. But it's actually going to hit true American theaters this coming August. Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F is the title of the film. Will hit American theaters August 4th through the 12th.
Okay.
Cool.
And then Fox released a statement that they are planning on rebooting League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Cool.
As it stands right now, they've listed producers and director information. No stars have been signed for anything. It's highly doubtful that Sean Connery will be reprising any work on the film whatsoever.
And really, I'm okay with
since that's and I'm okay with that because I'm okay with that, and I think that movie is actually what made Sean Connery throw his hands up and walk away from Hollywood anyway. So
it was his last live action starring
role. To date.
Yeah,
to date, and I'm kind of glad to hear they're doing a reboot because that is a fun storyline.
And from what I hear, that the comics are absolutely awesome.
What little I've read of them, they're a lot of fun, and they were trying with the movie. I think they just kind of
they missed the mark.
They missed the mark a little bit.
It was fun. We have some very fond memories of that. Most notably, walking out of the theater in a small little mountain town and listening to two girls. I know we're dating ourselves here. It was too loud, and I didn't like it, but whatever. Listening to two teenage girls, probably 15, 16-year-olds, go, are we supposed to know who any of those people were? And Erin and I sharing a look of,
Yes.
It's called a book.
But for those, depending on which generation you're in, who don't know, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is essentially a superhero take on fictional characters from a turn of the
19th, 20th.
Thank you. Victorian writings out of from England and Europe.
The stars of the cast, the stars of the ensemble. You have Alan Quartermain. You have Tom Sawyer.
Tom Sawyer.
Yep.
Captain Nemo.
You have Captain Nemo.
Mina Harker of the Dracula stories.
Yep.
You have the Invisible Man.
Yep.
Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray. You have Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Hyde. Mm-hmm. And you have Professor Moriarty.
And Mr. Hyde. And
Moriarty, yeah.
Professor Moriarty. So really, if you paid attention in junior high or high school at all,
you should probably at least be able to recognize a few of the names.
Have a grasp on some of these characters. Maybe.
Apparently not.
So,
Hashtag I don't get it.
Well, it'll be definitely interesting to see who they decide to bring in, especially considering that over the past 10 years, comic book films have drawn in true actors with clout and drawn in so much money that they can actually pay for people who have acting chops above and beyond Sean Connery's level and beyond. Because when it really came down to it, there's definitely a bunch of notable people in the film, the original film, but really the only one that had the star clout
was Sean
Connery.
Which Sean Connery as Alan Quartermain, as played by Sean Connery, is Sean Connery as played by Sean Connery. So
it worked for me. I thought he did great.
I didn't quibble with it a whole lot.
He did fine, but let's be honest. Sean Connery plays Sean Connery in everything Sean Connery is in.
Well, that's true. He is Sean Connery.
Yes.
Very true.
All right.
Anyway. Well, I wish them luck. Are they doing this now as a movie or as a series?
This will be a film. It will be a feature film. Okay. That was definitely considered.
It's not something that they have to stop doing after 4 episodes. Or a season.
Hopefully not. Okay. Just last 2 things here. For those who are fans of How to Train Your Dragon, I didn't know anything about this until I caught wind of it today, is that DreamWorks has had a series being put together for a while through Netflix. As of June 26th, Netflix will be airing DreamWorks' Dragon's Race to the Edge. And this will be including main characters from the original stories. It will include Toothless. It will include Hiccup. Some of the main characters, it's not just side characters telling their side storylines, and it's going to be an animated series.
Okay.
I'm assuming it'll be, the whole 22, 25-minute, well, since it's on Netflix, for all we know, it could be 28, 29 minutes. And sure. They don't have to worry about broadcast commercials or anything. But it should be a substantial series. I'm not sure how long the run is, but knowing Netflix, it's most likely going to be a limited run of 12 to 13 episodes to start, and we'll go from there.
We'll see what popularity is. And
last bit of selfish news for those who live in the Denver metro area. Kids in the Hall are on a national tour right now, and they are coming to Denver on June 6th at the Paramount Theater. There are still tickets available. Go out and get them. And from what I understand, someone here may be attending. This girl here. And she'll, of course, have to let us know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I will bring you updates after the show, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Very good.
And I actually got to see them live when they came through Denver the first time. This was years and years and years ago, and they actually played the Fillmore off of Colfax, and it was an amazing show.
You said you saw these same guys, different dresses tour,
yes,
right?
Yes, the same guys, different dresses tour. That's exactly right. I still have a T-shirt from it. It has not deteriorated with time.
Fantastic.
It barely fits, but amazing show. They're so great. Did you get to see that when they were here for
I've never seen them live, so this is going to be... And just so everybody at home doesn't think that I'm just some selfish jerk, I did get 2 tickets for my husband and I. This isn't just some, I'm having a great night out. Well, it kind of is. It is kind of me leaving him home, but he... I
have a previously scheduled engagement.
Yes.
Aww.
It happens.
So who are you going with?
Approximately once. I'm sorry.
One of our other hosts, I think that there's currently a thumb war or something going on between Brett and Jeff to see who gets the spare ticket.
That is awesome. I had to brag. I'm living with Sam many, many years ago, sharing a house. I would have to brandish the shirt when I would wear it around sometimes because he missed out on that tour. And Sam, Lord Sam, is one of the biggest Kids in the Hall fans too. So.
He will also be with me this time.
That's awesome.
Sam and Stacy and myself and
A lucky
Will.
Lobbycast host of her choice.
Yes.
I think perhaps you should have a duel. I think perhaps you should establish some kind of challenge.
I see.
That sounds like an awesome idea.
Pistols, rapiers at dawn. What shall it be?
Well,
Rochambeau.
I like that one better.
I'd honestly be a little scared to see Brick and Jeff with pistols at dawn.
As long as there was no bystanders for them to hit.
Yeah.
Put them out there by themselves.
They should be fine.
Some vacant airport. We could build a map and put one on one side of the map and the other one on the other side of the map, and one gets a hunting knife and the other one gets a bayonet, and they have to find whatever else is available to them.
Me.
Yes.
Hunger Games Kids in the Hall edition.
That sounds awesome.
Yes.
Send forth their tribute.
That sounds great.
Fantastic.
I vote for that. And as long as we get to televise it and we can put it out on the Lobbycast
we'll make sure
channel.
we'll make sure you all get footage, I promise.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's all I have for news.
That's a lot of news.
Hopefully we didn't overwhelm you guys with too much news, but there was a bunch of kind of fun stuff that was out there, especially the free games. Everybody's interested in the free games. Hi, Smudge.
The cat approves as well.
Yes, she does.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, that's very news. That's a bit windy. We appreciate it. And this chair is very squeaky. The only other thing that I really can add to it is apparently somebody has leaked images of the Xbox One's controllers, which are being revamped.
Yes. I saw something about that too, and I missed adding it to my news.
That's all right. I got you covered. I believe that the new controllers will be available for purchase starting the next couple of weeks, I believe, if what I saw is accurate.
Is there a specific design issue with them that people complain about? Because I know that when I've handled it, they just seem like a slightly modified, a little bit bigger than the essentially S controller.
Yeah, they're not bad. I'm not sure, to be honest. I have not done the research.
Okay.
We shouldn't have too long to wait to find out, really. So.
No, this is true. We're down to one functional Xbox One controller, so we may have one more coming in the future.
Yes.
I saw that Konami has also apologized for the whole Silent Hill kerfuffle.
Kind of.
Not saying I would have expected an apology to go along these lines. I, as playing the part of Konami here, I most humbly beseech your
I'm going to do
forgiveness.
Kojima in the background.
Yeah, this is him laughing.
If there are kids watching, please turn away.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry for having mislaid you and misplaced you and mistreated you, and please come back and make games and make us money. That is not what happened. What they have basically said is, we're sorry you thought that we were going to produce this game, and we're sorry that you really, really liked the Guillermo del Toro produced teaser, and we're really sorry that we're going to focus all of our attention on the mobile gaming market. Along those lines, at least. So.
Yeah, the article I read was very similar to that. Almost too diplomatic, because you could tell that they have no problems with the decision that they made in this situation.
No, not at all.
No, they're thrilled.
And they've said, we maintain our commitment in the challenge of continuing to come out with quality console games as we focus all of our attention elsewhere. We want you to know that we are committed. But yeah, essentially, that's yeah.
So anyways, Silent Hill is still not happening, and there's much gnashing of teeth and rending of clothing.
True story.
And I think that's about it for the news.
I agree.
I agree as well.
So, I believe this is the part of the show where we delve deeply, quickly, and swiftly into the what you've been listening to.
Whatcha, Weekly Whatchas. Well, let's see. A little bit of Social Club, band out of California that I've grown to like quite a bit. A little bit of Jen Wigmore. The Cabaret soundtrack, classic and new version wormed its way into my head
That's
somehow
awesome.
earlier this week, so I've been partaking in both of those.
So-
And forcing Will to partake in them as well.
So
Also
the
true.
original film cast and then the revival cast with Alan Cumming?
Absolutely. Those are the two that have been, and even doing a little bit of research into Michael C. Hall and Neil Patrick Harris as the MC that you can find totally illegal footage of on the internet, which I would never encourage anybody to look at.
Well, and did you know that Alan Cumming did his I think still right now he's in his second revival. They've revived Cabaret
Again. I did read a little while back that they offered him, the way they phrased it was an unspecified amount to return for a second revival, which means we offered him a buttload of money to come back and please do this again. So good for him.
Which is just amazing to consider that this man playing the same role at two completely different times of his life. I mean, a man I think when he originally did it, he was either in his late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, it was 98, I think, when he originally revived that role.
And now he's in his 50s doing the same role.
And he looks the
Incredibly
same. I saw a clip of the revival.
I believe it.
He looks the same. So it's fantastic. Good for him. And also, this kind of will kind of go in a little bit with the What You Watchins, but an online YouTube channel called Top Fives. I've been listening to that and watching that as well.
Cool.
All right, Rick.
It's okay.
Wow,
It's
I
okay.
applied for Blaine
Really?
and
It's
Rick
okay.
came out.
You know,
Very
it's
sorry.
the first time that's happened, but I know if he and I worked at it, we could make it almost as diabolical as Lou and
Is
Will.
the Lou Will dichotomy?
Because-
That's exactly what I was thinking just now.
Especially with Brick shaving his head.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
You never really figure out how balding is affecting your life until you shave your head. And that was one of Brick's discoveries when he decided to shave his
Yeah,
head.
Yeah.
these things happen.
Yeah. Sorry, Brick.
I think he also discovered a newfound penchant for hats.
Penchant,
Penchant.
Sorry for laughing so loudly in your ear, but that was funny. All right.
Blaine.
Yeah.
Blaine, my friend.
Yes. Listening to quick and easy list for me. Been listening to a lot of Muse this week. Their 3 first albums. I don't have their most recent album, unfortunately. Such an amazing band. Love them. And then a few podcasts.
Sorry, that was my email. Holy cats.
Apparently, I really wanted him to pay attention.
The
Dear
computer
Twitter.
was very excited to hear about the podcast
It
that I was
was.
listening to.
You were saying.
Listening to
Muse, lots of Muse.
back episodes, actually, of all these podcasts. The This American Life podcast, of course, is great, incredibly popular. Fresh Air podcast. Fresh Air is a show out of Philadelphia, WHYY, but it's also broadcast on NPR. Terry Gross, she's been interviewing people for 3 decades now. Well, more than 3 decades. She's an amazing radio host and interviewer, great to listen to. And then also The Moth. Jeff mentions The Moth on here every once in a while.
Yep.
Great podcast, especially if you like hearing people's stories.
Yep.
Nice.
Told live. And that's it for me for listening. How about yourself, Will?
I've recently discovered, thanks to my ever-growing and mutating and changing Pandora channel, my Pandora channel that I primarily listen to, as you may have heard on the podcast, started off as a Black Keys
Yes.
channel.
Yes.
And is now morphed into some weird kind of blues, trip-hop, electronica, Black Keys, black stripes, white stripes, all kinds of people. But a song popped up on there. It was a remix of a song by the Submarines.
Okay.
The Amp Live remix of 1940. There's something about that song and something about her vocals that have just got me entranced. So I've been listening to a lot more of the Submarines over the past couple of days, in particular. Been doing some Xbox One music. In the course of some internet browsing, I came across the Diablo Swing Orchestra.
I'm afraid.
The Diablo Swing Orchestra, not sure if I could explain this properly without doing them full credit and justice, is a Swedish progressive metal / swing revival / a little bit of everything else band. And I got to tell you, they're a lot of fun.
They make it work.
Wow. And this popped up on your Black Keys channel?
No, this came from somebody made mention of them on something else that I was researching for a music group.
Okay.
And I was like, Diablo Swing Orchestra? That sounds fun. Let's check that out. And I did a little bit more delving, and I'm like, okay, so they're Swedish. They play swing with some progressive metal overtones. Yeah, I got to listen to this. And they are out there. They are funky.
Okay. Where did you find your music? Was it through Pandora or Xbox One?
It is on the Xbox One.
Okay.
Xbox
Or
Live
Xbox
Music. Yeah, Xbox Music. Although I tell you, that is a dark and twisted channel. If you make a radio station on Xbox Music for Diablo Swing Orchestra, and we'll give you a sample of this before you go home tonight.
Okay. You got me curious.
That is a rabbit hole. You are going down that rabbit hole. You are chasing a fluffy little bunny tail all the way down to Wonderland. Except when you get there, you're going to realize that bunny has like piercings in the ears, is wearing a spike-studded collar, and is walking around going, "Oink!" You know,
Okay.
It's different.
All right.
And again, I'm sorry. I think our levels are a little off. So if I just blew out your earbuds, I'm sorry.
We'll leave a sticky note for Jeff to play with Lovely
Yeah.
for us, maybe.
Yes.
Ooh,
And we'll see what happens.
the technical issues.
Any other listenings?
What else have I got? I'm still working my way through Stephen Fry's narration of J.K. Rowling's British version of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Interesting.
Pretty fantastic.
I love Stephen
so
Fry,
awesome.
so
He's very well suited to those stories, and as you said, he's amazing.
well. And for those of you that don't know, I'm really happy that you mentioned it. That it is the British version.
Yes.
Yes.
The books are different for those who grew up in the UK and
Yes.
those that grew up here in the United States. So if you're ever really curious, check out the UK versions. They're different.
It's fun listening to Ron refer to people as gits.
Which he does in the books,
Yeah.
the American books, but Pratt does get left out a little bit more.
Pratt gets left out. Having to make the mental switch in my head between jumpers and sweaters,
Yep.
trainers and sneakers.
And it's interesting also that we've talked, Will and I talked about this, because they did leave British slang in the American versions.
Mm-hmm.
There's just more of it in the UK versions, and there's some things that
Don't translate
well.
Like conkers.
Conkers. Yeah, exactly was a word that we said. There's just no American translation for that. So it's interesting to make the comparison in your head if you are that level of Uber nerd that you can say, I remember that word was not here. And you're looking at least two of them right now.
True story.
So are you listening to that in the car then? Or
Yes.
Nice.
It's currently what's on my iPod. It's my good commuter education in the mornings and the afternoons.
Cool. Anything else?
That's it for me as far as listings.
Nice.
So,
Excellent.
Aaron, what you been watching?
Well, let's see, a little bit more of everything you didn't know about animals, getting my education on, sort of, I guess.
Discovery or Animal Planet?
I believe, you know what? I
National
believe
Geographic.
National Geographic.
Nice.
Yes. And so it's an interesting show. They do different 3 animals every week and give you interesting factoids about
Cool.
an octopus or, raccoons, just about anything. So it's fun. Hannibal, as per the previous mentioned handshake between Jeff Olson and myself, has continued. So, Jeff, when you get back, start hitting those Angel episodes again.
Would you still say at this point, how many episodes are you in now?
4.
4 episodes into Hannibal. Would you still say that you've definitely hands down got the better side of the deal?
Having not seen Angel, I don't know. I can't say that.
Perhaps I phrased the question poorly. Would you say at this point?
That I'm enjoying myself more than
Yes.
Jeff? Yes.
Yes, that would be the question.
I'm sure I am. Which is unfortunate because I'm sure when I do see Angel, I'm going to enjoy Angel quite a lot. But it's tragic that he doesn't. Do you the evil and that laugh, people? I think those are wow.
Well, I have a theory that there is a flaw within all of us, and we all have them, and unfortunately, Jeff has this mental block it's almost like this white fade that happens when exposed to things of Joss Whedon.
It's very true.
Yes.
And he has his right to his opinion,
Absolutely.
by all means. But
Even though he's wrong.
he you know, it's he just doesn't get it.
No.
You know, and I
It's
think
not like Joss.
I think that may be part of the burden, actually, too, and why he gets so. He has such a strong emotional reaction to other
Yes.
people's enjoyment of it. Is that it's just there's just something about it that he doesn't get.
Very true.
But
Yes.
I have Joss Whedon on my list too. So.
Yay, Joss Whedon. Speaking of Joss Whedon, I've also been watching Buffy.
Yay!
Yay,
Where are you
Buffy.
at, by the way?
I'm about halfway through the second season.
Nice.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yes, I'm still enjoying it quite a lot. Penny Dreadful, of course. We did both just watch the latest episode of Penny Dreadful, and as far as my noodling about on YouTube, I found a channel called T for 10, which is basically a small cult following of people that really like the old 1990s Disney show of.
Oh no!
Okay.
I was.
Oh, I thought you were saying.
No.
See, for some odd reason, I thought maybe you were hinting there were technical issues.
Oh no! I was
There's
clear.
technical
What?
issues.
I know.
There are no technical issues.
I was drawn off to clear my throat. You're fine.
Okay, that's good. Glad there were no more technical issues. Thanks for a few minutes.
You.
That would have been
I'm
tragic.
sure there will be more technical issues. When we don't know how to
Yes.
turn things off later, and we become our real selves.
Yeah, so
They're still recording. Dang it.
crap. Yes. Anyway, T for 10 YouTube channel, a small group that kind of has an enjoyment of the 1990s Disney show Adventures in Wonderland, live action, made for kids, but I think it's one of those ones that had a lot of crossover with adults, kind of like early SpongeBob SquarePants episodes.
Back when SpongeBob.
Back when SpongeBob was good, exactly. And this TV show, Adventures in Wonderland, starred, what's her name? I can never remember. Elizabeth Harnois, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. She's best known for playing Morgan Brody in CSI, who was Eckley's estranged daughter that came onto the cast later in the series. She played Alice as a child actor in this show and was very good.
Just go with it.
Okay, probably not.
Well, I thought I'd seen a lot of CSI at one point in time or another, but I don't remember Eckley having
It's
a child.
Okay.
It's her Savantish gift.
Oh, okay.
Coming to the surface again.
It happens.
Why, yes. She was in 2 episodes.
Actually, she was a main character in the later last few seasons.
Wow. Okay.
Were these under the Morgan? No, not Morgan Freeman.
These were under the Ted Danson.
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson.
That would be the reason why I never made it that far.
Okay.
Yeah, I stopped with Prism.
Who was before Ted Danson? It was
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne. That's what it was. Okay.
Yes, these are. I believe she came on around the time Ted Danson did.
I see.
So yes, that wraps it up for me.
I just wanted to back you up a
yes.
second real quick. When it comes to Penny Dreadful, are they in their second or their third season?
Second.
Yes.
It is a show that I'm very interested in seeing, but it's a very difficult show to access if you don't actually have the pay cable channel. Because it's a Showtime series, correct?
Yes.
It is a Showtime series.
Yeah, unfortunately, Showtime, they're being very smart at the same time, but they haven't chosen to stream their content elsewhere. I take that back.
They have not.
They have not. I think they may stream on Prime.
Oh,
Now that I think
okay.
about it. I think they may stream on Amazon, which is a pretty bold choice considering the other streaming options that are out there. But I think I'm wrong. I think they may stream on Amazon. But no, it is a show that I would. What are you doing?
Yeah, you
I'm
can.
looking at Amazon.
Oh, okay. I thought he was.
That's
looking
taking
at
a risk.
this.
As hard as
You
we've had to work to keep things online, technically,
if
you
all
are
of a
playing
sudden
with fire
everything
there, mister.
disappears, don't call for help. It just means that the laptop imploded.
All right. Well, he is checking out Amazon Prime. I'll go
Okay.
ahead and review it and watch it if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Absolutely.
I'm up to date on Game of Thrones. I can definitely see people's reactions to this season. It's a really inconsistent season, unfortunately. Some of the best stuff in the season finally happened in this episode. I'm not going to say any spoilers or anything like that because I know both of you guys are not up to date on that. But excellent episode. Some really great stuff happens. I've also been doing a rewatch on an anime that I like. It's called Samurai Champloo. It's from the same guys that made Cowboy Bebop.
Samurai Champloo is one of my all-time favorite animes.
It is so wonderfully irreverent and silly,
It's fantastic.
but full of really fun action. Good stuff.
Well, and it's such a great, blend between really kind of 90s and early 2000s hip-hop and the hip-hop culture interspliced with traditional Edo period Japanese culture. I could talk about it for hours.
What's really great is at the very, very beginning of the series, they say, this is not meant to be an accurate representation of historic Japan. Though they do talk a lot about history, like the interaction, a lot of interaction between Europe and Japan during the time period, especially when it comes to art.
Yes.
So it's definitely a fun series. I recommend it. I want to send this one out to Jeff. I've actually watched the two first seasons of Arrow, finally.
Oh, okay.
I had been kind of avoiding the whole DC televised universe because I was not interested in the Superman one. What was that Superman? Smallville. I was not interested in it at all. I saw a couple episodes and I'm like, no, there was no way. But this, it's significantly better. And I tell Jeff that you will not like it because it is full of the soap opera themes that you mentioned that you were wanting to avoid and would not like. But it doesn't take up as much as you think it would, or it doesn't impact things as badly as you may think it would. They do a pretty good job of making it seem normal without being too much soap opera-ness.
Sure.
But the one thing that they do that he really would dislike, and he's complained multiple times about, is that he hates it when people don't say things to other people when they can just as easily say it to help prevent some sort of miscommunication or misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
People keep secrets like there's no tomorrow in this show for no good reason other than they are just secrets.
To keep secrets.
And it would piss you off, Jeff. It would piss you off so much. You would get so frustrated. You'd be like...
That's how much it would piss you off.
You would throw down.
You would throw down in a good, the bad, and the ugly style showdown. Complete with your own soundtrack.
He's almost as red as I am. But my redness is from amusement. His is from embarrassment. So I've enjoyed the first two seasons of Arrow. One of the things I do appreciate that they did do it is that, of course, there's the companion series, The Flash, which just finished its first season, and Arrow's finished its third season. Is that they actually give Barry Allen, the Flash, and his origin story actually is in Arrow. They give his origin story through the Arrow series so that I haven't started the third season of Arrow or Flash yet, but essentially by the beginning of the Flash series, he's already experienced the formative things that would give him his powers and that essentially for him to become the Flash. So the beginning of his origin story, the meat of his origin story is in Arrow, which I thought was an interesting way to do it. So it's really interesting to see that the DC Universe television people, they have a very specific plan. And that there's actually a third series that they're going to do now called Legends of Tomorrow, which will feature Black Canary, the Atom, and Firestorm, I believe, from the DC universe. So it's kind of a spin-off from season 3 of Arrow and the first season of The Flash. So they definitely have a significant plan in place where they actually introduce a televised version of the Suicide Squad, completely different from the cinematic universe for DC. So they're doing things in a very different way than Marvel is. Which is both a good thing and a bad thing at the same time.
Sure.
So Arrow. I watched one of the episodes of Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown.
Nice.
Love that.
No, fantastic.
Absolutely.
He's a good writer. He is a good journalist. He does such a great job presenting his shows. And I've watched 3 of the different shows that he's done. He did No Reservations for the Travel Network, and I think No Reservations may have originally been on the Food Network before he left.
Yes.
And then he went to the Travel Network for
Food
that.
Network to the Travel Network. Then he did The Layover.
The Layover, yeah, which is one that a lot of people don't know about. I discovered that on my own through Netflix, which is kind of weird. But yeah, he did Layover for the Travel Channel, and then now he's doing Parts Unknown for CNN.
Excellent.
Great guy, great show. Really good. Then I did some rewatching of some movies on HBO Go. I watched Ender's Game. Really like Ender's Game. Little rumor. I don't know if it's been 100% confirmed or not, but Asa Butterfield, who was in the Boy in the Striped Pajamas, he was in Hugo, Martin Scorsese's film, and he was in Ender's Game. He's most likely going to be the next Spider-Man.
We're rebooting Spider-Man for a 3rd time
Yes,
in the past 10 years.
but this is within the Marvel Cinematic Universe this time.
Okay.
I know. A lot of people were hoping that they would go for a mature Spider-Man,
That would be nice.
giving Peter Parker an opportunity to actually grow up and be an adult.
That would be neat.
Or to go the other route, if they were going to try and keep the character young, go the route of Miles Morales, which is the unlimited Marvel's universe, the separate universe from the main cinematic and the main universe, where Peter Parker actually dies and the character Miles Morales takes over as Spider-Man. And that's what one of the directions people were hoping we're going to. But it'll be interesting. I'm a fan of Asa Butterfield. I think he's a great young actor, and he was great in Ender's Game. And I also did a rewatch of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Good film.
Great movie.
Like that one.
So freaking funny. John Goodman as Cyclops. It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
Well, and that's the first movie that I really sat down and said, holy crap, George Clooney can act.
Yeah.
That was that moment for a lot of us where we said he's not just a good-looking bobblehead doll. He's really got skills.
He's a dapper Dan man.
He is. That's very true.
It's good stuff. And the music in it is so good.
All right.
I did a rewatch of Jack Reacher so that my friend Rivers, my roommate, he could actually finally see Jack Reacher because it's going to be rolling off of Netflix here coming up in June. Good, solid movie. Underrated film, I think.
Yes.
But solid. Did a rewatch of Sherlock Holmes recently.
The RDJ version?
Yes.
Sorry.
Robert
Downey Jr.
See, my first association with it is Guy Ritchie.
Okay, yes. Which is also actor.
So when I think of it, I think of it as the Guy Ritchie version. But yes, the RDJ and Jude Law version.
Yes. I like that film as well. I like the second one.
I like the second one too. I actually may end up watching the second one
It would make
tonight
sense.
or tomorrow. So something like that. Then last couple of things here really quick. I've been doing a rewatch of South Park in the middle of season 14 of South Park right now.
Yep.
Nice.
Good stuff in there. A little bit of Dragon Ball Z, a little bit of Archer Vice. Trying to catch up on that. Did a rewatch of the movie Contact. Really, I think it's a solid movie. A lot of people don't like it, but I like it.
I did. I like it too.
It's in honor of Carl Sagan, and it does a really good job of gently putting the discussion in there in regards to faith versus science and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Doesn't cram it down your throat.
And I'm watching Buffy and Angel with Rivers for the first time for him. I've watched both shows multiple times myself, but he's never seen either of them before. So we watched an episode in our in repertory, watching them together because we found a website that tells you which ones that links everything together.
Nice.
And so watching an episode of Angel as part of that watch. And last but not least, a couple of YouTube things. CinemaSins. Always a fun thing to watch, and Watch Mojo. They do top 10s. They release multiple top 10s every day, and watch multiple episodes of those shows, of those channels recently, just here and there. So that's all for me for what I've been watching. What about yourself?
It's an extensive list.
It is. I have way too much time.
Well, I tell you, if I could take half the time that you have to add to my paltry, pallid, puny list, if I may borrow heavily from some alliteration. really, for me, for the past week, I can say that I managed to watch one entire feature-length film, which the American remake of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, good movie.
Good movie.
Rooney Mara. She won an award at the Cannes Film Festival this year.
Excellent. Yeah.
She won an acting award.
Good film. I like Daniel Craig as well. And the soundtrack done by one of my favorite all-time musicians, Trent Reznor, in partnership with Atticus Ross. I started to watch the original Swedish version, which I believe also stars Mooney Rara.
No, Noomi Rapace.
Noomi Rapace. Okay.
I get their names mixed up all the time.
Whoa. Yeah, it's tough. I didn't get through more than about half of the Swedish version. I decided just to do a whole lot of... I found myself drifting off into Swedish Elfland. I'm sorry.
Swedish.
Pretty sure the Swedish chef is talking about some illicit sexual activities.
You're at the top of my head there, folks. Good radio.
I want to continue that so badly. I cannot express to you the self-effort and control it's taking for me to censor myself at this point.
I'm impressed.
We appreciate it.
Woosah. Did manage to catch, we're up to date on Penny Dreadful, which is rare for us to be up to date on anything at this point.
True.
Hey, but if you're going to pick one thing, what I understand.
Penny Dreadful's awesome. And a little bit of YouTube mayhem. We watched some acapella groups last night. I had an acapella twist that I had to get exercised. What else were we watching before that? Something about cats, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure, probably.
You cannot escape YouTube without coming across cat videos.
It's the
true. It's the law.
It's the internet.
That's about it. I don't have a whole lot to contribute at this point.
You mentioned the Swedish Chef. Did you guys know that they're bringing back the Muppet Show?
Yes, I had heard that.
Yeah, ABC is bringing back a primetime version. I saw a preview for it. It is not yours and my Muppet Show from when we grew up. There were some significantly adult themes. In the preview, Miss Piggy has left the Muppets, and Kermit has found another significant other, who's also a pig. So there are many jokes in regards to him digging on swine.
Interesting.
Yep. And I believe the preview ended with how Miss Piggy decides to come back to join the Muppet Show. And Kermit, I quote, says something on the lines of, "I've created myself a bacon-wrapped hell." Wow. This coming out of Kermit's mouth on the Muppet Show.
Wow.
This is not our Muppet Show.
Our Muppet Show.
But it looks like a lot. It's going to be a lot.
I really hope that they treat my two all-time favorite Muppets with an equal hand in this regard. Then,
who are your two favorites?
Waldorf and Statler.
The two critics.
The two critics.
The two cranky bastards up the balcony.
Yes, they had a couple bits in the trailer too. Maybe when you go upstairs, you guys can watch the trailer. Yeah, you will be amused.
Outstanding.
Anything else for your eyes?
No, not for the eyes. We're hurtling towards the end here.
All right.
Erin, take us home. What have you been playing for the past week?
That's actually a fairly brief list. I've still been kind of messing around with an old game of Fallout 3 and the DLC, Mothership Zeta, which was a fun one. Messed around, but aliens. Messed around with a little bit of The Witcher 3 this morning. Beautiful game. Will can tell you a little bit more about it because he's played it extensively at this point.
I'm actually staring at you with pride.
Thanks, baby.
Pride. Impressed.
I know, we're disgusting.
It's not
sorry.
awkward. It's not awkward.
No, Blaine is.
Oh,
I love you.
Good radio for those at home there.
Yeah.
I was the mentor of a Erin and Wil sandwich.
Just imagine that one.
So,
that was a nice hug.
And owing to Mr. Brick introducing me to this app, Quiz Up.
Trivia?
It is trivia.
Okay.
It is not trivia crack,
No.
but it's similar. I know this is
A trivia game?
a trivia game. Me? What?
No.
Brick? A trivia game? What?
In other news, Brick has been fired from the Lobbycast.
And that about
kid,
wraps
the
it
kid.
up for me.
Cool.
So, Blaine.
Mine is extremely short, especially in comparison to yours. I've done more game viewing than I have done game playing because my TV has a tendency to get co-opted for gaming purposes by my roommate. But I played Marvel War of Heroes on my phone. It's a collectible, interactive card game. I've mentioned it before when I've been on here. It's just fun, free stuff. Get to see some really cool art from the Marvel Universe. Some characters, get to do a little bit of interaction with friends. And then what I've been watching in regards to gameplay, I kept it separate from watching stuff because it's gameplay. He is cycling through the Final Fantasy games right now, and he finished Final Fantasy finished Final Fantasy 8, and now is playing Final Fantasy 9.
Wow.
It is a very weird transition going from Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8 realistic. Well, it's pixelated realism characters with awkward movements and stuff like that to monkey children and rat people and stuff in Final Fantasy 9. I'm not racist, or speciesist even. It's a speciesist. It's just a very weird transition from that. Well, because it's almost kind of like a return to the whole chibified RPGs. That it's that chibi cute type of thing from the earlier stuff. That they got away from to do 7 and 8, and then they kind of scroll back. We're going to go to a more cartoony style of things.
And then for 10 is where they get into the hyper realistic.
Yes.
With the PlayStation 2.
Yep. PlayStation 2. That's right. Yep.
So.
And actually, they recently released a newly, because they'd released an HD remastered version for the PS3, but now they've a remastered HD version for the PS4.
4, of course.
So it looks even better. So he'll be moving on to that next. But still fun to watch. Crazy stuff. What about you, Will? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a little bit of The Witcher 3. Kind of found myself, I worked myself into a bad spot, so I kind of had to step away from it a little bit because I got into an area that is vastly overpowered for what my little puny little level 4 character can handle.
Well, a quick question before you tell too much detail in regards to it. Have either of you played
Email.
have either of you played the previous games? Witcher 1 and 2?
He has. I have not.
I played The Witcher 2. I have not played The Witcher 1.
Okay, so is this action-adventure with RPG elements, or is this a kind of open world RPG experience? Or what kind of game is it?
Witcher 3 has moved... okay, with my experiences with Witcher 2 was fairly linear. There were areas that you could explore, but they were typically linear-driven areas. Go to this area, find this monster, kill this. A lot of fetch quests, a lot of kill quests.
Okay.
Fairly linear. Witcher 2 is notable for having a very distinct decision at about a quarter of the way through the game, where depending on what decision you make, altered the outcome of your actions for the entire second half of the game.
Is this like a moral choice thing, sort of, or is it just
Faction choice, if you will.
Okay, sure.
The Witcher series is very much ambiguities and grays.
Okay.
There's no Paragon, there's no Renegade, there's no light side, there's no dark side.
Okay.
Everything is a shade of gray.
Okay.
The Witcher 3, and I've remarked to Erin several times, is notable for being truly open world. And I think even as far as landmass goes, it blows Skyrim out of the water.
Seriously?
It is a massive amount of space and areas to visit and get involved in.
Some of the reviews that I've seen indicate 100-plus hour gameplay.
Nice. That's right up your alley.
Yes, it is.
Now, the Witcher series, The Witcher 3 at least, very much a role-playing game. However, it's you are playing a character. You're playing Geralt of Rivia.
Okay.
So you don't get to make your own character. You don't get to customize your face. You don't get to do stuff along those lines. You're playing a particular character. Now you can develop his skill trees and his, you can craft. There's weapons and armor and schematics and bombs and potions and all kinds of things to make once you find the information and you find the components. But you're playing one character.
Okay.
You have a choice of how to play him, as the gray moral choices kind of are presented to you. But the other interesting thing that I've found with the game, and again, I've had very limited gameplay, but you can actually see your decisions and your actions making a difference in the world around you. For example, I went into one area, it was an abandoned sawmill. It was populated by 5 or 6 ghouls. I killed the ghouls, and then almost instantly it said, this area has been reclaimed by the settlers. And you actually see people move in, and you see people start rebuilding the area.
Oh, wow, okay.
So there's some very interesting things along those lines. What I can tell you also is that the Witcher series is very well known for being a very mature game.
Yes.
The Witcher 2 surprised me. In fact, at one point, as I'm playing along, and all of a sudden, as the phrase goes, shabam boobies.
There's a lot of TNA in those games.
Yeah.
Okay. So some adult sexual content.
Absolutely.
Very adult sexual content. And then, of course, on the other side of the adult sexual content, there is some pretty sweet graphic violence. If you hit somebody at the right place...
Not just graphic violence, folks.
Pretty sweet graphic violence.
Pretty sweet graphic
Even
violence.
do decapitations, you can actually see your sword carved through a path.
Oh, wow.
Take off arms and take off limbs and take off parts and pieces. It's cool. I like it.
Did you play Shadow of Mordor?
Yes, I've been playing Shadow of Mordor a little bit as well, not recently.
How does the graphic violence compare? Because I heard there's some pretty graphic violence in that, too.
There is some pretty graphic violence in Shadow of Mordor. I would say the big difference is that Shadow of Mordor is a little bit more up close and intimate as far as some of the graphic violence.
Okay.
Witcher 3, a little bit more removed, just kind of as far as viewing distance.
So is it third person?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is a third person. But it's so far it's very enjoyable. I just need to back myself out of the corner I made and go do some leveling, get some stuff under my belt.
Yep.
Now, you've gotten your feet wet a little bit in it.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, and it's gorgeous so far from what I've seen. So
It definitely feels inviting
yes.
to you. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they set different story levels. They have, I'm just here for the story. I'm here for story and action. I'm here to absolutely challenge every little fiber of my skill.
So they turn their difficulty gradient into kind of an interpretation of your style of play instead of just how badly...
Easy, normal, hard.
Pardon the expression, but how badly you want the game to bend you over.
Right.
Because some games, unfortunately, interpret things that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Ninja Gaiden, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
I played 5 minutes of Ninja Gaiden, almost broke a controller, almost broke a television, and almost smashed an Xbox. Said, never again! And I haven't touched the series since, so I'm doing pretty well.
Yep.
Anything else?
I played a little bit of Destiny since House of Wolves has dropped.
Yes.
I've been playing through the House of Wolves content. I really find myself enjoying the Prison of the Elders aspect of the new DLC. It's arena-based. You go through 5 rounds with 3 stages per round, followed by an end boss. End boss is randomly decided from the major enemy races in the game. Provides a fairly ample challenge, and then there are higher level arenas that provide even more challenge from there. I really like it. Really enjoy it.
Cool.
Excellent.
Does it feel like it's just kind of more of the same, or that they... Hello, Sludge.
They have made some strides. The story missions that come with the second DLC pack are a little bit more well-rounded. You care slightly more about the characters that are giving you these quests, and you're learning a little bit more about kind of the history of them. So that's a pleasant change that they are actually focusing on story. Cool. They're still fairly, the content's still fairly similar. The creators of Destiny kind of had an impression we want people to play for 30 minutes a day. And that is still very possible to do. I played comfortably for a couple hours and got a couple things accomplished and felt no qualms about turning it off and moving on to something else. So I wouldn't say that it's grossly enrapturing like Skyrim, where you sit down at 10 o'clock in the morning and you go, wow, I've just lost weight. I'm not sure I've eaten, and my couch smells funny. But it's good in small doses. It's really, really good in small doses. It's okay in longer doses. Unfortunately, what I've found is the majority of my Xbox Live friends that I was playing Destiny with have drifted away.
Yeah.
So I am now back at that struggle to find people to go knock out these group experiences, which I have been doing fairly steadily up until about 2 months ago when I stopped playing Destiny for a while.
I'm going to tweak the question that I just asked and kind of ask it in a slightly different way, because I had asked if it just felt like it was more of the same. Do you feel that the DLC expands your character's ability to develop?
No. Other than expanding the level cap, there's actually nothing besides armor and weapons. There's no new skills. There's no new progression. Once you've maxed out your character, there is no maxing out. And I maxed out 3 characters, 2 classes per character months ago.
Oh, okay.
There's no further skill development for your character. The only thing that you can do is unlock progression trees for armor and weapons.
Is that something that you? Sorry to keep kind of digging in on Destiny, but Destiny has been a topic of conversation with our circle of friends at different points in time, and some being this is great disappoint, and others being this is great fun. So, being someone who hasn't played it all, I have kind of an outside interest in that. One of the things I know that when I look at for DLC when I'm playing a game is that, I want it to expand on the experience, and it can expand on the experience in multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
With Skyrim, just using it as an example, they had the DLC was so diverse, is the best way to put it. Everything from the
Hearthstone, you get to build 3 houses.
Exactly. Yes. And it becomes this major side project you enjoy doing because you're creating something within your environment.
Sure.
And then you have the Dawn Guard segment of things, and it's
which is a huge campaign to itself.
And it's a completely different experience that adds on. Mm-hmm. And so different DLC can do different things. And so when I'm asking about it, I want to either experience something completely new, or I want it to help me develop my character in some way.
Right.
And
in that regard, Destiny's 2 expansion packs have done that.
Well, and I would say that most MMOs kind of have that same problem, though, at the same time.
Sure.
Is that because in a lot of MMOs, it's hard to really follow the huge storylines that end up getting exposed because it ends up becoming less about the storyline and becomes, I just need to get to that area to get this one bit of content instead of story content or character content. It's trying to get stuff.
No, I consider Destiny to be MMO light.
Okay.
I had a severe EverQuest 2 addiction.
Me too.
Loved EverQuest 2.
Yep.
My God.
Me too.
Hours and hours and hours and hours. But the nice thing about EverQuest 2 and the nice thing about EverQuest and the nice thing about World of Warcraft is that typically when they release an expansion, it's a true expansion. Not only do they bump the level cap, typically 10, 15, or 20 points, they unleash new skills, new builds, new weapons, new gear, new equipment, new races.
Sometimes new classes.
New classes.
Yeah.
I remember when, I don't even remember what the name of the expansion was, but at some point I got the chance to play a Fae Warden for EverQuest 2 on the PvP servers.
Yep.
You get to float.
Yes.
I remember that.
That was the highest level character I ever had in EverQuest 2, but that was all based on a single expansion that came out.
Yep.
The Destiny, they call them expansions. They do not call them DLC. They are more appropriately DLC.
Sure.
House of Wolves adds 6 or 7 individual story missions. It adds the Prison of Elders, which has 4 arenas of varying levels and varying difficulty. Those 4 arenas are randomly generated content, 5 rounds with 3 sub-rounds in between, plus a final boss round. And then it adds Trials of Osiris, which is another cooperative. I believe it's cooperative. I haven't unlocked it yet. But it's another cooperative experience. The expansion before that, which I keep referring to in my head as Crota because that was the end raid, added 5 or 6 individual storylines. It added a strike and it added a raid.
Okay.
And then it, here's new weapons, here's new stuff, here's new weapons, here's new stuff.
Sure.
My character has not changed other than equipment since before the first expansion.
Okay.
There has been no character growth, no character development. You can play a warlock class, which is either a blade singer or not blade singer. That's one of the hunters. But you play either solar powered or void powered, and your abilities differ in between the two. Those characters have been, or those skill trees have been maxed out since before the first expansion came out. So there's no character growth. There's no character change. There's no additional races. Sure. There's no additional worlds. That's the other issue that I have with them calling it expansions is, again, coming back to EverQuest 2, coming back to World of Warcraft, which I'll admit I never played. As I mentioned, I had a Fae character. That Fae was developed in a world, fairies, dark Fae, light Fae, whatever. However, I don't even remember at this point. It was years ago.
They had 2 separate environments depending on their own. Yep.
But it was a completely new realm.
Yeah, completely new area.
You had to fast travel to it and get to it and undertake a quest to get there, and a whole new realm with subquests and tertiary quests and quaternary quests. And
there were a lot of quests.
There's a lot of quests. I think that's why they called it EverQuest.
That's the title of the game. Mind blown.
Anyway. So you have this completely new, separate, different realm. One of the problems with Destiny is that the Destiny areas have not been expanded upon, changed, or addressed. They will change where you spawn in. And you may go through an area backwards from the first time you went through it.
Yeah.
Or you may have opened up a slightly new area or a slightly new vantage point. But for the most part, it's still Earth, Moon, Venus, Mars. And one of the gripes that I've seen on the boards is there's a whole galaxy. Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, the moons, Ganymede, Titan, Io. There's a whole world out there. Why do we have to keep seeing these expansions? Because that's how Bungie has referred to them.
Sure.
Why do we have to keep seeing these expansions and be like, oh, I'm back at the Ember Fields on Venus. I may have a slightly different turn. I may take a left turn, or this area has been opened up, or I'm going a little bit further than I have before. But it's not, in my mind, a true expansion.
Sure.
It's, oh, hey, behind door number 2, that was previously locked, is the whole new world, to borrow from Aladdin.
But that's your point, is it's not a whole new world.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me additional content. Take me to someplace I've never seen.
So, sorry to keep harping on this because I actually have a question for you too. But so, do you have a pass, or are you buying this DLC individually at this point?
I bought the pass as soon as I bought the game.
Okay. They charge you $20 for the pass?
Yeah, something like that. Something like 20, 25, I don't remember.
And how much DLC is planned for the pass at this point?
We're done.
So it's just 2?
2 expansions as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
If rumors are to be believed, I believe that Bungie is going to be releasing, there may be a 3rd expansion, something I think they called it Comet. It may either be the pre-release title, it may not be the final title.
Okay.
But something is coming this fall. Whether that's going to be included with the previous pass or not, I don't remember. I don't remember seeing. I don't know if there's a good answer for it yet.
Okay.
But the other thing that I have seen, again, if it's to be true and if it's to be believed, is that very soon there's going to be Destiny 2 with expansions.
Sure.
And Destiny 3 with expansions. They're building off this whole intellectual property. Instead of doing the traditional MMO route, again, I call it MMO Light.
Sure.
Instead of doing the traditional, okay, this is World of Warcraft, this is your base. This is
existing universe.
This is the Wastes of the North or whatever it is. This is Mists of Pandaria. I don't even know if I have half of these right.
Sure, but no,
we get the idea.
Yeah, we get the idea of what you're saying, and it's they're trying to bridge that gap between PC gamers and console gamers because MMO gameplay is just so different on a PC than it is on a console. And there are some publishers and some game makers and programmers that are bringing true MMOs to the console, like the Final Fantasy. I don't know. I never played 11 or even watched 11, but 14 is an amazingly gorgeous game.
Yeah.
And I didn't do Shadowrun. Shadowrun, I guess, was kind of an MMO-ish.
Shadowrun was supposed to be MMO. I think they had a lot of problems getting that aspect off the ground. I never played the game.
And there's a couple others, and of course the Elder Scrolls Online will be one of the first, I shouldn't say the first, but the second big MMO to come to the console. So it'll be interesting to see how they end up rolling out possible true expansions.
Right.
Not to cut you off, but I really wanted to ask you because you're playing a game right now that has some absolutely bad-ass DLC for it.
Yeah,
and I know that you guys have all the DLC for it already, and so you played a lot of it already, but I was kind of curious, what is your favorite DLC or expansion on some of the games you play? Because you play games in a different way than a lot of people do. You focus and you play through, and you get as much out of that playthrough as you can because you love to play the game when you're playing the game. So I'm curious about what is your favorite DLC or expansion that you've had the opportunity to play in the games that you've played?
I told you I was hitting Fallout 3 again right now, and I really did enjoy Point Lookout expansion on that one. It just took it in kind of an unexpected direction, whereas a lot of it took you to Maryland, which is basically a large, slightly radioactive swamp with, basically it's deliverance for the Fallout world.
Mutant hillbillies.
And
got a pretty mouth.
And religious zealots and all kinds of strange things. So I really like that. I thought it was
cool.
An interesting take on, a different look to that same game.
Nice.
And what might have happened in a different pocket of the world in those instances.
It's a neat world. It's an incredibly neat world. And I know that everybody's really excited to see the possible bouncing with excitement. To see the possible footage and announcement and release of E3 for Fallout 4.
Yes.
Wait.
So happy.
We'll have to see what Bethesda brings us at E3.
Yes.
But yeah.
Hopefully it is not a fooled you. Because I'm pretty sure there may be riots.
Yeah, there might be.
Well, haven't they already kind of teased it? Other than that, hey, we have a big announcement.
It's been teased and teased and teased and teased, but it's also been shown to be, this one's false, and this one's a rumor, and this one's a myth, and this one is fake,
right?
And this one is crap.
So hopefully they deliver with this, because that would be nice.
And remind me, because I know that Bethesda, they own the intellectual property, but they have worked with other studios with that property, because Vegas was a different studio.
It was done by Obsidian.
Obsidian, okay. For some reason, I thought it was Black Isles. For some bizarre reason, I have no idea why. But Black Isles, I think
Black Isle used to work with Obsidian, I believe, on one of their properties.
And I think Black Isles is responsible for bringing Elder Scrolls Online into the MMO. I think. I could be wrong. But yeah, cool stuff. I'm excited to see it too.
Me too.
I know one of my all-time favorite DLCs was Fallout New Vegas, and it was the Science.
That was hilarious. That was really well done.
I don't remember the name of the DLC.
Old World Blues.
Old World Blues, yes.
That was very fun.
It's encyclopedia.
Check out the big brain on Earth.
Well, thank you guys for answering my questions in regards to that. And well, thank you for having me on the show this week.
Thanks for being here.
I was happy to sit in.
And thanks everybody for listening
Yes.
Most
or
definitely.
watching.
Yes. And hopefully,
Hopefully this works.
Hopefully this works.
fingers crossed.
Hopefully you are in fact listening and watching.
Hopefully you are listening and watching. Otherwise, we've been entertaining ourselves for the past 2 hours, and we would like to thank us very much for being as funny and witty as we actually are.
Well, it's only been an hour and a half.
Oh, hour and a half, we're doing good.
Yeah.
So on behalf of myself, Erin and Blaine, thank you for the Jamaica Wedding Technical Blues Special Edition of episode 327 of the PGL Lobbycast.
Indeed.
With that, we're going to sign off, and hopefully nothing explodes.
Have an entertaining week, everybody.
Good night.